If I was asked to compose a list of the tropes most likely to tank a manga or anime's quality when introduced, the power of friendship would definitely be in the top 5. The most clear problems with it is how it's often treated as a convenience to make the main characters better than any threat too strong for them, and make actual efforts to surpass the threat be devalued. Despite that, it wouldn't be accurate to say the idea itself should be dropped entirely. Some metaphoric takes on it can work with the right character arcs leading to them as a payoff, as with Luffy's jet Gatling against Lucci, but integrating it as a genuine part of a power system can make the issues even greater, which, for obvious reasons, I'll call the fairy tale problem. There can be a softer version of the power of friendship focused on actual teamwork and some potential risks, such as the Super Genki Dama in Dragon Ball, or have some elements that are consistent with the rules and philosophies of the power system, as with the miracles in Saint Seiya. But as far as committing to a trope being a genuine force in the series' power system, the one I'd say accomplished it the best, at least if not treating Musou Tensei as applicable for the sake of the video, would be perhaps the earliest to utilize it in this manner, Kinnikuman. It's worth going into the various aspects of the series' spiritual power of the burning inner strength, as there's 3 main types of it to better explain why this works. The first part would be the regular burning inner strength, at first glance functioning as a simple resolve boost when someone really wants to win or survive. Friendship power is the second piece, which, as the name suggests, boosts a character from their desire to protect their friends. It being revealed these are simply 2 parts of the same power also makes it understandable why, when Kinnikuman's burning inner strength is sealed, he can bring out just as, if not greater, strength from friendship power, though still be more fatigued than if he could also use the former. Where things deviate from what you'd expect would be with the offshoot that is Ataru's philosophy of true friendship power and the hellfire in the strength. The true friendship power is a critique of not just how friendship power was used by the Justice Chojin for a while, but how it has been handled in most series since, in becoming too reliant on their bonds rather than being capable of giving it their best individual efforts, to rely on themselves and their allies' capabilities equally. Ataru's hellfire inner strength being what happens when the burning inner strength fully utilizes this mix of self-reliance and trust in teammates. It's in this that we see that activating friendship power isn't as simple as many shonen to come after it of,
"Ooh, I like you a lot and that gives me the power to fight,"
but instead presents friendship through a very masculine lens. This is shown best during the fight against Zebra's team, which emphasizes the friendship the Justice Chojin have formed has been through enduring physical struggles together that deepen their bond in much the same way as the blood is thicker than water phrase was in its original context, contrary to its modern use. On the topic of friendship power's flaws, this is another thing Kinnikuman does well, in having there be clear drawbacks. Prior to Ataru's philosophy, items such as Ashura Man's box can actively seal it away and thereby weaken the bonds between allies. Though this might seem to make character motivations artificial during the Universal Tag Tournament arc, this seal being broken through enough emotional changes allow for it to be the perfect mix of checking the power up while also keeping character motivations genuine. Perhaps the biggest check to the main characters using this is that this power isn't exclusive to them and can be used by even villainous characters if they have the right mindset, something that leads to a plot point as refreshing as it is ludicrous in the 5 evil gods using their evil friendship power, or a more grounded version, Omega Man Aristera briefly unlocking friendship power from his desire to honour his fallen allies. This stands out when even the better cases of the power of friendship in other series tends to be fairly limited. A flaw in Saint Seiya's power system, for instance, is that miracles are only exclusive to those allied with Athena, when Poseidon's Marinas and Hades's spectres can have just as much devotion to their gods. The lack of barriers, if the right mindset is there, makes things a lot more balanced in Kinnikuman. The focus on mindset being important is also another thing Kinnikuman gets right, as a character's mindset drastically affects how easily they can use the first 2 stages, and how well. For For example, Akuma Shogun's lack of typical emotions makes the burning inner strength and friendship power something he could only briefly use against a male due to his eons of respecting him. The third part of it that is fleshed out in the Six Spears arc as to why Kinnikuman in particular stands out in utilizing this power is that the true nature of the burning inner strength is utilized through bringing the first two levels to their next step, being able to empathize with the opponent and fight to understand them. This not only ties into some of the Budo Taoist martial arts philosophies the series contains, such as the Chojin Enma, or the Chojin gods not being a tier mortals can't challenge, but the idea that a match between martial artists allows for them to understand themselves and their opponent is the perfect way to utilize the power of friendship in an action manga. Kinnikuman doesn't have his opponents redeem themselves purely because that's the typical shonen thing, but because his mindset is to understand and accept their struggles when learning of them, allowing him to reflect and help them overcome their own internal struggles. It's through utilizing these three main ideas, and two spin-off ideals, consistently, that Kinnikuman's use of the trope set the standard that other shonen struggle to match, and has allowed it to stand the test of time. Thank you for having watched through this brief explanation. If you somehow watched this with very limited knowledge of Kinnikuman, then first, sorry for the spoilers, and secondly, you may want to watch my video on why you should read it. As I implied though, my choice for the best use of the power of friendship in shonen would be Musou Tensei. If interested in Hokuto no Ken, with that leave a like and subscribe if wanting more Kinnikuman videos, and I'll see you next time.